100%. And before I let you go, similar to you, I'm gutted that I'm not in Las Vegas this weekend. But let's talk Terence Crawford. From where he started his career to now fighting at super middleweight, if he was to pull off this win against Canelo Alvarez, how monumental, how big of a challenge is that?
Yeah, Andy Lovato and I were going to split, and one of us goes to Belfast and one goes to Vegas. But I think we're going to stay this side of the pond. Yeah, it's extraordinary. This fight, it's a once in a generation, once in a lifetime fight, really. Two of the greats of our generation, of modern times, who have done different things at different weights, of course, in different styles. One a hardened, skillful, orthodox power puncher with a brilliant defense and few weaknesses. The other, a wonderful, elusive southpaw, not only with a brilliant ring IQ, but also with power. And the way he's gone up through the weights has been extraordinarily good. I remember seeing him when he fought Ricky Burns when he first came over, and no one really knew who he was. We expected Ricky to give him a real hard fight, and uh, it was a brilliant win for Crawford, and what he's I just no one thought he'd go on to do what he did since then, and it's again testament to a lot of hard work, not just having that talent but having that dedication. But Canelo is an animal, and you can never write him off, particularly in Vegas in September with that Mexican fan base. He will not want to lose this in any way, shape, or form. He'll do everything he can to win. He's got the size, he's got the experience. However, I believe sort of 70 odd fights in, I didn't think he looked good against Skull. He got beaten by Bivol. You know, there are one or two signs that he's not quite, and I mean, he's still the undisputed champion. He's still exceptional, but maybe not quite what he once was. Very, very fine margins we're talking. And I love Canelo. But I just fancy Crawford in this fight. I have since it was first announced. Yes, the weight is huge, and Lennox always tells me a good big un beats a good little un, as he proved against Evander Holyfield. But I just think that if Crawford can box to plan, and stay out of trouble, and frustrate Canelo, particularly in those first 3 or 4 rounds, establish a rhythm, I think it's going to be tough to get him out of that rhythm. I think Canelo's going to be he's going to be obviously looking to push him into corners, back him up, utilize that weight. And who knows? Of course, he could stop him, but I don't think either have ever been down. And I just fancy Crawford. I think Crawford's boxing skills are still really underrated. You know, you talk to Errol Spence, you talk to Sean Porter. I mean, this guy is a superstar, and he's not become a superstar out of boxing. Everyone in boxing knows who he is. Everyone in boxing thinks he's great, but he can walk. I remember coming over to Manchester, and people just don't know who he is. It's like when Loma came to Sky, and people were like just nonplussed, and then the boxing team were like, "We have a legend in the building." And I think sometimes it's hard at those lower weights. You've got to have that Nassim Hamid personality, or Floyd, and I think it's sometimes hard. And I think while Terence Crawford is known, obviously, as one of the great champions, multi-weight division champions in boxing, I still think the people on the streets maybe don't. This is on Netflix. This is going to be watched. And I hope that there's a lot of build up into those casual fans this week, because I've just got a feeling that this is Terence Crawford's coming out party. And I know that he's had so many other wins, but this is different. And I think that this is the moment that we realize how good he is, or how maybe the world realizes, look, there's a lot of people I know who are picking Canelo in this. And I'm not normally as on a fight as close as this and as fascinating and as difficult to predict. I'm not normally as hot on a fighter, but I just really think everything points to a Crawford win. So yeah, I'm sticking with what I thought first time out. I'm not commentating it, so I feel comfortable in giving a prediction like this. I've got many wrong in the past, Max, but I fancy Crawford, and I fancy him big on Saturday night.
Definitely. And now, last two before I let you go, I can see the meeting's about to end. Dave Allen, I saw him Sunderland ran a sub 25-minute 5K. He looks in good shape from what I've seen. I watch his YouTube every night. It sounds like he's getting a bit sick of the diet, but we're around 4 or 5 weeks out. Again, just how excited you'd see Dave in Sheffield, kind of a homecoming. I know he's from Doncaster, but how excited?
Max, I see him every week. I mean, he's always around in one corner or the other, or picking up a mic or something. So it's great to see him get more and more in shape. Obviously, he knows how hard this is. Tough fight. doesn't want anything other than tough fights. A homecoming for him of sorts in Sheffield, but he'll just be concentrating on Makhmudov and the task in hand, which is, as I said, a very, very threatening one.
Mm.
But then I think Dave gets up for fights like this, so he looks in great shape. Yeah, he's running a bit better. He said he was puffing a bit at the end, but he's funny, isn't he? And he's great, and I think he's found a home with Jamie and Nigel, and I just he'll be in the best possible shape Dave Allen can be. And we know he's talented. We know he's done it in sparring over the years. We know he's in a bit of momentum now with the Johnny Fisher fight in Saudi, which I thought he won, and obviously the one at the Copper Bosch, which he won in style. This is a tough fight, but it's a difficult one to predict, and I think it's going to be just fantastic being there on the night to see what Dave Allen can do with that home advantage, with the wind in his sails. He seems in a really good place, Max. I mean, I've known Dave a long time, and I've seen the ups and downs, and he just feels to me, not just physically, a better fighter now, but mentally he seems there. And you're going to get the best Dave Allen. I mean, he can't believe he's being talked about as fighting the likes of Deontay Wilder, of Joe Parker, and those sort of fighters. But if he wins on October the 11th, he'll be looking at those sort of big fights, which is crazy. But look, it's a business, and he's stuck with it, and everybody loves Dave. Everyone's got respect for him, but he's got to go and do it again, and it's a tough assignment.
100%. And last one before I let you go, a man that you see at all the big fights, similar to yourself, Gareth A Davies. I saw that you said that Moses Itauma would stop Anthony Joshua in 3 rounds. You've been around Anthony Joshua from the start. Just what do you make of that, and how likely do you think that could be?
Yeah, look, it's difficult, right? AJ's been out the ring for a while now. Everybody remembers the Daniel Dubois fight, and that's the last we've seen of him. But Anthony Joshua is a very, very experienced, high level fighter. You know, two-time world champion, and he will want to go in with anyone now. Do I think he should fight Moses Itauma next? No. I don't think Dillian should have taken the fight, and Derek Chisora was right not to. I mean, this is the former. This is the old guard, the former generation in a way. The Tyson Furies, the Anthony Joshuas. You can Would Tyson go near Moses Itauma? I mean, he sparred with him. He thinks he's going to be the next great thing. I don't think he would, and I don't think he should. I think look, Dillian, it was disappointing, and I'm glad he's coming back, and I'd love to see him against a Chisora or a Joyce maybe, but those are the sort of fights they should be looking at. For AJ, for me, it's Tyson Fury, or it's Deontay Wilder, or Tony Yoka, or someone like that. I wouldn't go anywhere near Moses Itauma, and I don't think it's fair for me. I've known AJ for so long, and I've been so close to him for so many years. I think it's not right for me to say what I think happens against Moses Itauma. I don't think that fight will happen. I think if it does, AJ will fancy it. Of course he will. But I think Moses Itauma is very, very special. You know, I've said it for a long time now. I think that he's going to become world champion whenever he wants. If it gets fragmented, I think he'll win a title pretty quickly. If it doesn't, if Usyk holds the belts, then I don't know. It may take a little bit longer. Would I like to see the Usyk fight next or the one after? Probably not, because I think that look, I just would develop Moses. I think he needs rounds. I spoke to Ben about it on Saturday night. Filip Hrgovic is the fight, but they're not getting an answer. So who does he fight? Does he fight one of the Americans like a Baby Miller, or someone that's going to try and give him rounds? That's probably the way forward. But of course, a big fight with a Joshua or a Fury or an Usyk sells immediately in a stadium and all of that. But Frank and Francis and Ben, good people around him. They know the sport, and I think Frank will just make sure the right fights happen at the right time. Maybe Kubrat Pulev, it's someone like that, or yeah, as I said, a Hrgovic. I wouldn't. I don't think the Joshua fight's right for many reasons. So no, I'm not going to go on what I think may or may not happen. I don't want to think about that fight actually. I think that AJ's in a different stage of his career. Does he want to win a world title for a third time? Maybe, and maybe he's going to have to fight somebody like that. But I wouldn't be choosing Moses Itauma if I was Team Joshua, or Team Fury, or Team Chisora, or Team pretty much anyone. I think Moses is the heir apparent, and he's a southpaw. He's incredibly quick. He's got vicious power. his IQ's great. He's mature. His feet are on the ground. He's with a terrific trainer. He's with a great manager and promoter. And you just listen to the other heavyweights talk about him. That's all you need to hear, really. It's not what we think, it's what they think, the Tyson Furies. And I've said it before and I'll say it again, Max. The thing I think he should do is not fight Usyk. I think he should go and train with Usyk because Alexander Usyk trains like no one else I've ever seen. And I think it will really benefit him. I think if Ben and Lee and the team went over and had a week or two in Gandia and watched Usyk and learnt from Usyk, he's a southpaw too. Don't know. I think that would be really useful. He's been in with Fury, he's been in with all the others. Moses, I think that would be very beneficial because if he's going to blow people out away in the ring, and maybe people can't stand with him, then he's going to need to get as much in the bank, much education, much experience as he can. And I've spoken to him, and I know he'd love to do that. And I know Usyk really rates him. So I know Turkey wants to fight. Maybe the fight, maybe monetary, business wise, it will happen. But I think if it doesn't in the short term, I think that Moses should fight in December and maybe go and spend a bit of time with Usyk. That's what I would do.
100%. Well, Adam, thank you so much for your time. I'm not going to take any longer before.